Hi guys, good morning! Today I have another weird video, but I wanted to share with you just in case this experiment works well. So like I've said in other videos before, Logan has grown out of the majority of his clothes, and not only has he grown out of them, but as he was growing out of them, he ripped a bunch of holes in the feet. And one day I was like, why don't, instead of throwing these away because now they're all holy messes, why don't I turn his little old pajamas into a quilt? Because not only will that be a memory for us, but that will be a little blankie he could have for himself. And he's gonna turn one in a couple days. So I think this would be like a good kind of memory quilt for us, and if he ends up liking it and snuggling it, that would also be a benefit. So like this pair of pajamas, this is what he wore on his first Halloween. I'll link a picture. But yeah, they're just super cute. And I have this quilt that I already made previously. I actually made this way before Logan was born or even in the picture. I just wanted to make a baby quilt, and this is what I did. It has little alligators on it because that's Cameron's favorite, and I think this quilt turned out really good. So what I'm going to do is use his pajamas for the squares, like use the back pieces as the squares and kind of arrange them, and I want them in the almost the same size as this quilt that I currently have. This is probably like a 4x4 square, and there's 36 squares within the quilt. And then I'm going to use one of his old swaddles because I don't have a piece of fabric big enough to make the backing. So this swaddle is bigger than this quilt that I just showed you guys. So I'm going to try to use this as the whole back piece as well as the border to try to like make all of the pajamas look kind of cohesive. So as you see here, these are the pajamas we're working with. Got some Batman, got some polka dots, dinosaurs, got this other Batman, which I really want to save the little Batmobile thing because we have this really cute video of him in this.
Get my good side. I'm Batman.
So I think if I could, I'm gonna have to remove the zipper and then try to sew the pieces together so that I can keep the emblem or the belt. Maybe have like a piece that's the bat and then a piece that's the belt. I think that would be super cute, but that's gonna be difficult. So I don't know if that one will work. And then he's got his trucks and his Christmas outfit from his first Christmas, little Santa Claus. So I am first gonna start cutting these. And see if I can get 36 squares worth, and then arrange them, and I will show you what happens next. So this is one of the pajamas that I'm trying to save, that I need to first sew the half together and then cut the piece out. So what I've done is I've cut off the back and just have the front panel, and on this side I've ripped the zipper off already. So I just wanted to show you guys how I'm taking these zippers off. So this is the fabric portion of the pajama, and this is the zipper. The seam right in here, right where my thumbs are, you are going to want to take a seam ripper, which is this little guy, or a pair of scissors, but because these seams are really tiny, the seam ripper works better. And then if you hold onto the fabric so it doesn't rip and just pull, the zipper comes right off. Like this one might have been double stitched, so I need to recut it. Then you just rip the zipper off, so then it makes it easier. Okay. Makes it easier to sew the two pieces together. And then that's just been cutting the zipper off. So now I have two pieces of fabric with no zipper. So I'm going to pin these together, and then I'm going to have to sew this piece together first before I cut it into the square. And I've already done that with this little koala outfit, which I loved on him. And this Batman, oh my god, I'm going to start crying. I can't believe he's turning 1 already. Okay, this little Batman. This is the other main part of the Batman. And then the Santa, because it's like a sewn on decal, I'm going to have to sew it a different way because it's very thick in this area. But I'm also going to have that so the Santa is one full piece. And of those pajamas, those are the ones that I need to sew together, but I have these little pieces so far. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then those will end up being 4 more, so 16, and I need 36. So I still got a long ways to go. Just for size reference, these clothes are 9 to 12 month or 12 month because I have a very large baby. He's gonna turn 1 in literally a few days, and he's wearing 2T. So just for size reference, if you try to do this with newborn clothes, you might not be able to make 6 by 6 inch squares. You might have to make a smaller square to accurately like fit the pattern that you want in, but luckily he's a big little guy, so I have plenty of fabric to work with. So yeah, I'm going to keep cutting and we'll see how this goes. Hi, Vivi. Ay, ay. Ee, ee, ee. Good job, monkey. Good job, Vivi. Okay, so I've cut all my pajamas out that I wanted to, and I arranged them in this pattern you see here. I did have to sew this piece together because that was 2 pieces, and this koala as well. I had the Santa and the Spider-Man, and those didn't work out well, so I just kept the Batman and the koala. And now what I'm going to do is go along this row here and sew the pieces together row by row, and then put all the rows together and then start working on the back piece. All my rows are sewed together, so now the goal is to sew the rows together to make one large piece for the quilt. So to make it easier to put the seams together on the quilt so they'll match up perfectly, what you want to do is iron your pieces, your seams on the pieces that you already have to one direction. So row 1, all of these seams, I'm going to press them to the left, and then row 2, I'll press them all to the right, so then it ends up being almost like a jigsaw puzzle when you go to pin them together to adhere them both together. So let me show you how to do that now. So this is row 2. Now I'm going to be pressing these all to the right side so that the two pieces will sandwich together nicely. This step is not necessary, but it does make things easier when you're putting the two rows together. So highly recommend, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Okay, now that my two rows are ironed, you want to make sure they're facing the correct way, and I want this to be row 1 and this to be row 2. So I'm going to fold it over like so, and then I'm going to be sewing across this seam here, and this is where the ironing helps, because I've sewed one row, or I've ironed one row. You can see here, since I've ironed this seam to the left and this seam to the right, when you go to pin them together before sewing them together, it's a little easier to sandwich the pieces together so you get a straighter line. So I'm just going to go along here and pin these two creases together. Now you can see this is where I was talking about if you iron, it'll give you like the perfect little matchup of a square. So it looks like the blanket was designed that way. So this is the first two rows. I'm going to continue doing this for the next rows, and then I'll show you guys the one big piece. Okay, now as you can see, I have all the pieces sewn together. It's all one big piece. So what I'm going to do now is measure how long the piece is and add 1.5 inches to each side so that I can have an inch border around it. And I'm going to use this fabric right here. This is one of the baby's old swaddles as the back. And I'm going to use this swaddle for the edges. So let's get measuring. Took the nap. Good morning. all completed. I think it's super cute. It's all my baby's little outfits for the whole year. It's all sewed together. I did the border. It does look a little wavy because the fabric of the swaddles is very stretchy. So then when you go to sew a finishing stitch on the edge, it kind of stretches it out a little bit and gives this kind of like wavy feel. That's why it looks like that, but I love it so much. It's so cute, and it's got all his little clothes that he wore. I also put a hand-stitched little stitches in between. You're not going to be able to see them, they're so tiny, but little stitches in between some of the corner spots to stitch the back piece and the front piece on together. So that's what the back looks like. I used the checkered swaddle for the back, and here's the front. It's so cute. I'm so excited. I can't believe my little baby's already one. But yeah, I think this turned out super cute. I hope he likes it. We can go test and see if he likes it. Yeah, let's go do that. Hi. What are you doing? He's silly. He's silly. You're silly. Hello. Hello. Are you big boy standing up? Do you like your blankie?
It's all your outfits.
Uh-huh.
Do you like it? It's very
Remember,
soft.
koala. Koala.
And your Batman and monkeys.
Hi. Hi, BB.
Or just gonna give Mama a hug.
Hi, thank you. You love your blankie? Is it fun for you?
Yeah.
Yes.